Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Kevin and Mikkel. We are back with a new video. Hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend. You know, today is Thursday. It's been a lot going on. And we're not going to talk about a lot on this video. Today we're going to be solely talking about Ice Cube and Megan Thee Stallion.
And everything seems to be pushed up close. What's going on?
Well, if you slide back...
Hello? You didn't tell me to slide back. You told me to slide over.
Well, same thing. Here we go. How you feel okay now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of lights.
Yes. Yeah, so we're... So yeah, I hope you're enjoying the Sassy weekend. We're going to be talking about Megan Thee Stallion and Ice Cube. So it's been announced that Ice Cube is working with the Trump administration on this initiative. I can't even get my mouse. Oh my God, you wasn't ready for that, but what about this? We're going to talk about this on the podcast. So, yes. And anyway.
What's the name had those?
Who?
T. Pendel, go back. He made a video in these and in these.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. So, that other website was not under there.
Oh. So what was it? Oh no, you know what? Bitch, somewhere, I'm wrong. This is my computer.
I was about to say, do you want me to say out loud what it was?
No. they know what I do. So anyway, you tried it. So yeah, Ice Cube announced that he's going to be working with the Trump administration with this CWBA called Contract with Black Americans, where he's saying that he's trying to get $500 billion pushed into the black community. But see, Ice Cube has been tweeting all of these kind of conspiracy theory videos and things like that. And then all of a sudden he was saying like, well, you know, I'm not voting. It don't matter. He didn't say it don't matter who I'm voting for. I'm not voting for any of them. And, you know, he was just saying all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, he was behind the scenes, I guess, working with the Trump administration and trying to work with Joe Biden's administration. He was saying that Joe Biden's administration was saying that, by the way, click the like button, share this video if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, all that good stuff. So he was saying that Joe Biden's team was saying, you know, let's wait until after the election to deal with this. And he was saying that Trump administration was, I guess they was willing to work with him now.
Well, first of all, Trump administration, they're the ones that are in power. Joe Biden's not in power, so therefore he can't.
Yeah, there's nothing.
He can do to get us $500 if he's not president yet.
Right.
He holds no political office at all.
Yeah. So he can't do that.
So I hope that wasn't him trying to diss the Biden campaign, because what can they do?
Yeah, he's saying that they're not willing to work. But I guess it's not Joe Biden; it's the campaign.
It's the campaign, but
so
yeah, okay.
So he hasn't met with Trump, and he hasn't been to the White House. He just met with the staffers and stuff like that. But I think that the reason why Trump team is so like, yes, we're going to be doing this with Ice Cube is because they're trying to go after the black vote,
right? And Ice Cube is a legend in the black community.
Right. But see, what he say don't dictate my vote. And
I don't none of them say dictate.
Now, I might watch him in Friday and some of his other films.
Kevin, he don't know that, and Trump don't know that.
Right.
They don't know that. They think that he does, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I think the only thing, the people that's really going to be checking what Ice Cube got to say is older black men who grew up around NWA time and people who are in California. But that don't matter because California always goes Democratic. So, but I appreciate what he wants to do, but I think he's barking up the wrong administration's tree, because Donald Trump hasn't done anything for black people, and he's a race baiter, he's a racist, he's a bigot. We could go down the line. So, Ice Cube, even though you don't want to be seen as Trump using you, you're basically going to be used by Donald Trump because you're black, and he don't have many celebrity friends besides Kanye and Kim, and who else that's black. You know, a lot of black people try to work with him. Steve Harvey.
They don't go anywhere.
And every time they went to the White House, nobody came out like, "This is what I told Trump." Blah 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 blah.
Or this is, or what they discussed has come into fruition.
Right.
The only person I think is Kim Kardashian with the whole, helping to
with the prison reform.
She's, but other than that, it's like, I don't, listen, it's good that Ice Cube is trying to do what he's trying to do is good. However, I just hope that he does not try to make it seem as though, oh, Joe Biden doesn't want to work. Joe Biden is not in the position at this moment to help with 500 bill. What is it, billion?
$500 billion. That's to,
yes.
You know, money towards.
He can't sign any laws or anything like that. He can't sign any type of laws or legislation. Right. So I mean.
And I think that there's going to be many of people who are going to be wanting to get in line with Joe Biden to help black communities. And it's not just Ice Cube. So I'm not knocking what he's doing.
Exactly. But
I wouldn't be knocking at the administration's door. And also, Ice Cube had like a 22-page contract. You know, I was skimming through it and stuff like that. I haven't read it yet, but still, anybody that wants
what to... What is this, like the contract, like the proposal that he would like?
Right.
Okay.
To be done for the black community. So, you know, I don't think it's bad. I think it's a good thing, but I think it's bad that you want to work with this administration. Right. You're saying that you want to work with Trump and Biden, and you're not telling nobody who to vote for. But damn, this story sure comes at a time where it says 91% of black people are not voting for Donald Trump.
But not only that, I'm looking at something right now in this thing that says something about Black Lives Matter in his thing. Donald Trump does not even say the words Black Lives Matter.
He doesn't believe that Black Lives Matter. And
he thinks that it's a radical group. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, come on. Come on.
Like,
I mean, it's Ice Cube's heart is in the right place, and I like what he's doing, and I like when celebrities and people with power use their power for good. I like that. Mm-hmm. However, you got to know where to go looking, and you know what I mean, because I mean, Donald Trump is working with Kim Kardashian this way. Kim Kardashian is a fellow reality TV star.
Right.
Okay. And she's a big, powerful reality TV star.
She is.
So I mean, I don't think that he's just working with her simply because because I think that if this was Meek Mill or Ice Cube that had hit up Donald Trump for prison reform, I don't think this stuff would be going as quickly as it is if it was them rather than her.
Right.
So yeah.
And Kim still doesn't even have a law degree, but I think whoever her team is or whatever, they're doing a great job. Mm-hmm. And then her working, you know, I know a lot of people are looking down now on Van Jones, but there's a lot of people that's trying to help reform prison, and I'm not upset with that because there are too many of our people who go to jail way too long, or you know sometimes they just thrown in jail for stupid stuff that their white counterparts would not go to jail for. Mm-hmm. You know, they probably wouldn't even go to court for because the cop would be like, you know what, it's not, you know, chill, go ahead. But with black people, it's like double the, like back in the day we had black men in jail, but now it's far worse. We have the most people in prison in the world. In the whole world. It's over 2 million people in prison. Probably even more. And they look at prison as more as a business.
Of course.
Than to help people who are in there. It's just a business. And to keep us off the street. It's never been good for us anyway. Mm-hmm.
That documentary, the Netflix 13, that's good. If you haven't seen it yet, it's not called 13. It's called 13 something, right? Or is it just 13?
I think it might be called just 13.
Okay.
It just make you mad.
It's good though.
Watching it.
Yeah, it's good. And the way it broke things down, starting from slavery on down, it was really, really good.
Makes you upset.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like that's when they really tried to throw us in jail for anything because they couldn't hold us as slaves anymore. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was bad. It was horrible to watch, but. You know, people are going to call Ice Cube all kinds of names, and I'm not saying I agree, but in a way I kind of agree because why would you still want to work with this man after all he's done? Now, if he's reelected, you know,
that's a different story.
God, yes, but if he's not, why wait until this man's the 11th hour of his first term to even come up with something like this? Mm-hmm. Because if Democrats get their way, they're going to flip the Senate. They already have control of the House. Hopefully they can keep the House. And you'll have a Democrat as a president. So, you know, why are you even trying to work with Trump? What can they do? What power can they do after January 20th if Democrats win everything? Nothing. So this is a waste of time. This is just a way to get at black votes. I feel like if you wanted this contract, you should have did it on January 20th, 2016.
Oh my God, can you just imagine if the Democrats kept the House and gained the Senate?
Right. I wish.
And then with a Democratic president, oh God, I would push everything. Push.
People have had enough of the Republicans. Only thing they are hungry for is power, and they want judges and more judges and more judges. They don't care about anything else. They want you not to have health care, but still haven't come up with a plan for you to have health care. Even when John McCain put his thumbs down, nobody has come up with any type of plan. I haven't seen anything. And everything is 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. We haven't seen anything.
Nothing.
If you can vote early, please vote early. I've seen that so many people in Harris County in Texas, they voted, because they only dropped them down to one ballot box. So people just been out there voting. They was out there early in the morning in their cars, ready to vote. People in Georgia, the numbers, I don't remember the numbers exactly, but they were much higher than what they were in 2016. People are ready to vote, and people are not playing around
I
anymore.
actually have the numbers from Georgia because somebody just posted it on Facebook. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so Joe Biden has an opportunity to win.
Over 240,000 people voted in 2 days down in Georgia, and over 500,000 absentee ballots returned.
That's amazing.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know who they all voted for,
Right.
but still, people are voting, and that's good. And Monday is the last day to register to vote if you live in Pennsylvania. So please hurry up if you have children that's about to turn 18 before the election or over 18 and they're not registered. Please get them registered and get their asses out there to vote. Make it a rule in your house. If you're over 18, you must vote on November 3rd. Well, you gotta go. You gotta come up with something.
You gotta come up with somewhere to go.
Right.
Because if he wins, you really gotta go.
Yes.
If Donald Trump wins again, you really gotta get out.
Right.
Because you didn't help vote.
Yeah, and just imagine Donald Trump won Pennsylvania by 44,000 votes. Just imagine people you look at or you see out here that could have made a difference in voting. And just 77,000 votes between Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan helped give Donald
When
Trump.
Pennsylvania went red, I said, wait.
I couldn't believe it. Right. It was just a night that I'll never forget. I was in that room just getting mad and mad.
Let me tell you something. Last night, I watched on YouTube the election coverage of 1992 between Bill Clinton and George Bush. And it was so funny because when I was watching it, for some strange reason, they had the colors flipped. So when they had the map, all of the red, which usually today goes to Republican, it was Bill Clinton, and the blue was George Bush. So whatever the case may be, that's how. But then I was reading in the comments that years ago, originally, the Democrats held the red, whatever the case may be. But Bill Clinton, George Bush was leading in the popular vote,
Right.
and he led in the popular vote. But Bill Clinton won the Electoral College, and he won by such a large margin. It was like Bill Clinton at one point was like at. So you need what, 270 to actually win? He was like at 160 something, and George Bush was only at 60 something.
Was it because Ross Perot maybe was cutting into the
Ross
votes?
Perot had some. Yes, he did. He definitely had some votes. I think he had like 19% at the time. It was like a lot of, but Bill. It was a clear showing. Like, okay, George Bush, you're not going to get that 270 electoral votes because he's too far ahead of you. But George Bush did have the popular vote, which is crazy because I'm one of those people that I say that I'm so tired of the Electoral College. And I was talking about this on my live the other night, and I brought you up and I said, well, Kevin doesn't think that the Electoral College should go away. He likes it. And I'm one of those people that think it should go away. Right. But then I'm like, if it did go away, then George Bush would have won re-election. We wouldn't have Bill Clinton.
Right.
So it's like,
But see, it really, the Electoral College is also about strategizing, and it brings you face to face with Americans who you really need to meet.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm going to win the popular vote. No,
Right.
you need to get your ass out there in every state and find out what's going on in these counties.
Right.
Who's losing jobs? Who need to gain jobs? And
And that was Hillary Clinton's problem. That's why she lost.
She didn't go out there. And it was sad. To see her lose, even though you kept hearing in the polls, she's leading by this, leading by that. That's what I'm telling y'all. Stop listening to them goddamn
Yeah, because I know right now Joe Biden is leading all over. He's leading in all polls.
Right.
However, I saw what happened in 2016.
Yeah, the only poll that
And I'm
matters
not-
is November 3rd.
It's November 3rd. That's right.
Baby, that's the only poll. So if you can sit there and talk on the phone, yeah, I'm voting for Joe Biden. But that don't mean nothing, because what if they're really Trump supporters that they call and say, yeah, let's say I'm voting for Biden, but I'm really voting for Trump. So you don't really fucking know. You need to get out there, vote early. If it's your day off, take some time off. You know you're going to spend a couple hours in line. Go ahead. I seen a video with this lady today. She had her chair, and her chair had her snacks.
That's right.
And she said, bitch, I got my
That's
juice. I got all of this.
First of all,
They ain't stopping me from voting.
Roland Martin had posted a video the other day where wherever he was at, and he went to go vote, and he had the line to show the line, how massive the line was. And I'm saying to myself, first of all, in 2020, there's no reason why people should just be standing.
Right.
Bring your fold-out chairs, bring a book, bring a small cooler, and just sit and wait.
Right.
Don't be standing, because it's 2020. There's too many fold-out chairs in Walmart and all those places that you can go buy and bring it to the thing and just sit. And each time, just move that chair on up. That's all you have to do. You just don't even need to complain about standing.
Yeah, because you see people with their lawn chairs when the
Right.
new iPhones come out, which I won't be getting, by the way. But I'm
No,
just
me
saying,
neither,
when the new iPhones come out,
Right.
people be in line
Yes.
overnight. They got tents and everything.
When we went to D.C. in August for the march, I couldn't believe how many elderly people were out there. And they were out there with their chairs.
Yeah, well,
Some buses left where I left from, and it was buses full of elderly people. And I'm like, oh my God, these old people are actually going down there. And they got there and had their fold-out chairs and sat in that large crowd. They were comfortable. They had
did
their
they have
chairs.
vendors out there with food and everything? Because you know me, I would have been eating from all the carts.
I don't think it was immediately where we were on the mall. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
It may have been, but I know it was people. It was like
Selling
more-
shirts or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It was so many people. You don't know what the fuck was going on. It was just a lot of people. It was a lot of people.
All right, so keep in mind, y'all, that we're going to get ready to do the podcast after we talk about Megan Thee Stallion. So I wanted to talk about this on YouTube and not just the podcast. And Megan Thee Stallion did an opinion article in the New York Times. Shout out to her. And you know what? Before I even read this, first of all, I've read half of it. She's no dummy. I love that she shows that she's more than just being a rapper who got the best knees in the world right now. That she actually thought this out and wrote it. Even if she had people help her, it don't matter. She's a rapper who put a fucking article out in the New York Times and wrote an opinion, and she's actually out there saying something. You know, I'm happy to see this, and I hope more of her female counterparts do something. You know, it's not just about the rap game and, you know, I only care about making music. It's a lot going on. And Cardi B, she also puts her opinions out there. She was a Biden, not a Biden. She was a Sanders supporter. Then she did something with Joe Biden. I'm glad that these women of today are saying, vote, because your life really depends on it. People like them rappers, they make so much money. Donald Trump is helping people like them. But they're trying to help people who are not as fortunate as them. And I'm happy to see that.
Because Donald Trump's tax breaks and all that, it benefits people like
Yes.
because they're the wealthy.
Yeah. And you know, Joe Biden wants to tax people, but he said 400,000 people who make $400,000 or more. Now that's not particularly always true, but you know, at least he's like listen, yes, I said I want to do it. He ain't lying about it.
Right.
I'm like, Trump, where's that fucking wall? You ever know? I want somebody to ask him what happened to the wall.
See, Joe Biden saying that he's going to tax is not even something that I'm even focusing on
Right.
because they all do it. I remember George Bush. Not that I remember, but I remember seeing videos of George Bush Sr. back in 1988 when he ran for president, and his famous line was, "Read my lips, no new taxes," and he said that at the convention. Well, he turned around and raised taxes, and a lot of people said that was a part of his defeat in '92 because he said that he was not going to raise taxes on American people, but he ended up having to do it. And sometimes that's what happens. You end up having. Do we want our taxes raised? Fuck no, we don't want to pay taxes at all.
Okay.
However, that's something that happens, especially when you have to go when there's wars and things like that. It's a lot of things that go into taxes. taxes. So I agree with you. I respect the fact that Joe Biden didn't say, "Oh, I'm not going to raise taxes." He said, "Yes, I am going to raise them, but I'm going to raise them in a select few." Right. That's what happens, and I think that a lot of people have to stop believing that. Oh, they said they're not going to raise our taxes. Yeah, okay. Because ever since I've been working, taxes I've been paying a whole lot of fucking taxes.
Let me tell you something. Okay, now I haven't worked in 9 years, right? Before I went back to work. Now, before I went back to work, they would take a lot of money out of taxes. Now, I recently got a check. Mm-hmm. And you know what I told you it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. But I was surprised that they didn't take half. It was still a lot that they didn't take out. Like, I didn't know that they're not taking as much taxes out of paychecks. Like, it's definitely different because I remember it very different when I was a working man. It'd be just money coming out for everything. Mm-hmm. And maybe I know that a lot of people was complaining about their new taxes, like when you file and your taxes come back. I was
one of those people. Remember?
It's not a lot of money because they're not taking a lot out. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where I like, because I'm like, they're not taking any, they barely taking anything.
Because they damn sure didn't give me what I was usually getting on my taxes when I got them back.
Right. So I'm like, but I'm like, it's a good thing that it's a bad thing. But right now, it's a good thing for me. And even if Biden come in there, I don't give a damn. I want that man out the White House that's in there right now.
Yeah.
I want him gone.
He's a disgrace, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's just that he has no... It's no
president. Nothing that says president.
Nothing that says president. He goes to these rallies and you don't know what he's talking about. He's rambling on and on and on and on and on and on. You're like, what the fuck is this man talking about? And the people there are just standing there cheering him on. And then half the time they're looking, when you got the camera, they're looking at him like they don't know what he's talking about either. They're just cheering him on because it's Donald Trump.
Right. So we gotta get through this because I know you gotta leave by certain time because I know I want some time on the podcast. So I'm gonna read this. In the weeks leading up to the election, black women are expected once again to deliver victory for Democratic candidates. We have gone from being unable to vote legally to a highly courted voting bloc, all in a little more than a century. Despite this, and despite the way so many have embraced messages about racial injustice this year, black women are still constantly disrespected and disregarded in so many areas of life. I was recently the victim of an act of violence by a man after a party. I was shot twice as I walked away from him. We were not in a relationship. Truthfully, I was shocked that I ended up in that place. My initial silence about what happened was out of fear for myself and friends. Even as a victim, I have been met with skepticism and judgment. The way people have publicly questioned and debated whether I played a role in my own violent assault proves that my fears about discussing what happened were unfortunately warranted. A lot of self-reflection on that incident, I've realized that violence against women is not always connected to being in a relationship. Instead, it happens because too many men treat all women as objects, which helps them justify inflicting abuse against us when we choose to exercise our own free will. From the moment we begin to navigate the intricacies of adolescence, we feel the weight of this threat and the weight of contradictory expectations and misguided preconceptions. Many of us begin to put value to how we are seen by others. That's if we are seen at all. Chase. Do you understand what this means?
Yeah, he does. But his father's sitting there letting him do it.
The issue
Where's
is
Charles? Go find Daddy.
Hey, see?
Get the fuck out.
And close the door. Bye.
The issue is even more intense for black women who struggle against stereotypes and are seen as angry or threatening when we try to stand up for ourselves and our sisters. There's not much room for passionate advocacy if you are a black woman. I recently used the stage of Saturday Night Live to harshly rebuke Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron for his appalling conduct in denying Breonna Taylor and her family justice. I anticipated some backlash. Anyone who follows the lead of Congressman John Lewis, the late civil rights giant, and makes good trouble necessary, trouble, runs the risk of being attacked by those comfortable with the status quo. That is so true. This is what I was thinking when I'm like, yes, I'm glad you wrote this. But you know what? I'm not afraid of criticism. We live in a country where we have the freedom to criticize elected officials, and it's ridiculous that some people think that the simple phrase, protect black women, is controversial. We deserve to be protected as human beings, and we are entitled to our anger about a laundry list of mistreatment and neglect that we suffer. Maternal mortality rates for black women are about 3 times higher than those for white mothers, an obvious sign of racial bias in healthcare, and they are not lying because they don't believe when black women are in pain. In 2019, an astronomical 91% of the transgender or gender non-conforming people who were fatally shot were black, according to the Human Rights Campaign. Beyond threats to our health and lives, we confront so much judgment and so many conflicting messages on a daily basis. If we dressed in fitted clothing, our clothes become a topic of conversation not only on social media, but also in the workplace. The fact that Serena Williams, the greatest athlete in any sport ever, had to defend herself for wearing a bodysuit at the 2018 French Open is proof positive of how misguided the obsession with black women's bodies is. I would know I receive quite a bit of attention for my appearance as well as my talent. I choose my own clothing. Let me repeat, I choose what I want to wear. Not because I'm trying to appeal to men, but because I'm showing pride in my appearance, and a positive body image essential to who I am as a woman and a performer. I value compliments from women far more than men, but the remarks about how I choose to present myself have often been judgmental and cruel, with many assuming that I'm dressing and performing for the male gaze. Not GAYS, but to be stared at. When women choose to capitalize on our sexuality, to reclaim our own power like I have, we are vilified and disrespected. In every industry, women are pitted against one another, but especially in hip-hop, where it seems as if the male-dominated ecosystem can handle only one female rapper at a time. Countless times people try to pit me against Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, 2 incredible entertainers and strong women. I am not the new anyone. We are all, and you're right about that, we are all unique in our own ways. Wouldn't it be nice if black girls were inundated with negative sexist comments about black women? Wouldn't it be nice if black girls weren't inundated with negative sexist comments about black women? If they were told instead of the important things that we achieve, it took a major motion picture, Hidden Figures, to introduce the world to the NASA research mathematician Katherine Johnson. I wish I learned in school about this story, as well as more earthly achievement that Alice H. Parker filed the patent for the first home furnace, or that Marie Van Britton Brown created the first home security system, or that black women, too often in the shadows of such accomplishments, actually powered the civil rights movement. It's important to note that 6 of the Little Rock 9, whose bravery in 1957 led to school integration, were black girls, and that Rosa Parks showed incredible bravery when she refused to move to the color section. I wish that every little black girl was taught that Black Lives Matter was co-founded by Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tometi. Walking the path paved by such legends as Shirley Chisholm, Loretta Lynch, U.S. Representative Maxine Waters, where she's been at, and the first black woman to be elected to the U.S. Senate, Carol Moseley Braun. My hope is that Kamala Harris' candidacy for vice president will usher in a new era where black women in 2020 are no longer making history for achieving things that should have been accomplished decades ago. But that will take time. And black women are not naive. We know that after the last ballot is cast and the votes is tallied, we are likely to go back to fighting for ourselves, because at least for now, that's all we have. What are your thoughts on that powerful opinion piece?
Well, she's absolutely right. Black women have been denied so many things. For instance, going back, since this is an election year, let's go back to 1920, 100 years ago. When women were granted the right to vote in 1920, that excluded black women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That didn't include black women.
Or black people.
Or black men. Well, yeah. That's not black people, because black men were voting at the time. Black men were voting at the time because even earlier, before 1920, there were black men, congressmen in Congress in certain states. So it's not excluded from black people. Black men were allowed to vote. Now, a lot of black people in certain southern states were denied.
I was testing. Go
But
ahead.
black women were not included in that women's rights to vote bill back in 1920 that was passed. It wasn't until years later until black women were included, and it's like, I totally agree with her when she says that, we know that after the last ballot is cast, that we are likely to go back. No, not even that line. No. The line where she says, will usher in a new era where black women in 2020 are no longer making history for achieving things that should have been accomplished decades ago.
Right.
I so agree with that, because it's like, every time you turn around, you hear the first black, or you hear the first, like for instance, prime example, Kamala Harris. When she did the debate with Mike Pence, Mike Pence, he congratulated her. He said, this is an honor, and I know what it's like to be sitting here, but, for you, this is an honor, you're black, whatever the case may be. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is the first time a black woman is in this vice presidential candidate seat. Mm-hmm. Like, we've been having these debates for years and years and years, and this is the first time that a black woman has been sitting there. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. The first time a black woman's been sitting there, and the third time a woman has been sitting in that vice presidential seat. And the thing about that is that it's only been 30-something years since the first woman was nominated to be a vice president.
Yeah, and you know what? I can't even think of, and I hope not something crazy, I can't even think of a black man on a vice presidential ticket.
No. Not on a vice presidential ticket. No.
Yeah, but let's not get sidetracked.
Yeah, we're not going to get sidetracked. But this was a great article, and it just shows that her way of thinking and where her mind is, it isn't just about WAP. Yeah. She actually knows what she's talking about, and she's actually trying to bring about awareness to a situation that has been going on for years and years and years, whether it be in politics, whether it be, black women being abused and not being believed, like when you first started reading it, when it's talked about how she said, the fact that I was shot twice by somebody that I know, and then I found myself having to defend the reason why I didn't say anything, because I knew that there was going to be scrutiny, and then when I did say something, the very scrutiny that I was trying to keep away, still came. It's like,
but you know what? She was also trying to protect a black man. That's why she didn't say that he shot her.
And get this. There's still black women who are going to watch this video, who are going to listen to us on the podcast, who are going to see articles on the internet that still side with Tory Lanez and will call her a liar. It's still black women out there. When I go on certain websites and I see, something that has to do with Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, it is unbelievable how many black women are in the comments defending him.
And I can't even think about the.
It's just like that. What? But this was an awesome article that she wrote, and hopefully a lot of people get to read it, because she's actually talking the talk. Yes. And hopefully in the future, not just with this campaign, but hopefully in the future, people like her and Cardi B and other women out there in the industry will continue to make their voices heard. Right. Because when you hear about a Megan Thee Stallion, you don't think about a social advocate, or you just think about the rapper with the good knees. Yeah. But she's showing you that no, there's more to me than just that. You know what I mean? And hopefully people get to see that. And I totally agree with her. It's just unfortunate that even still we're still having that the first black, where you feel like we should totally be past that, but we're not.
We are not at all. And I want to go into a little bit more of some of the things that she talked about, but we're going to do that on the Scorpion Show podcast. So, if you have not listened to the Scorpion Show podcast yet, I don't know what the hell you're doing. All you got to do is download it on your phone. You can listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to us on Google Play. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Pandora, and so many other podcast platforms. There's even just a podcast app just called Podcast. And you can find us on there. We're on there too. So download us if you have not listened. We need your support. We want more people that watch the Scorpion Show listening to the Scorpion Show podcast. So we're going to go. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And we will continue this conversation on the Scorpion Show podcast. So we'll see you when you get there. Peace.